I'm just...
Oh man! Usually I wait usually after about 15 seconds, we're like the buffering's caught up and we're live. But yeah, we worked. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, we were talking about this Decentraland. It was.
Can I hear you at any point?
Can you hear me?
No.
Still can't hear me. Still can't hear me.
Now I can.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's like that's just for you and I to hear each other. This thing doesn't actually change the volume on the thing, cool. Thankfully. And yeah, you can't trust with your ears when you're actually recording with this, but when you hear it playback, it sounds so much better.
So this is my angle?
Huh? Yeah, that's your angle, unless you want to change it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like, with like this setup, and I started having friends over like on a weekly basis on the weekends, and we record and we'll like do a podcast or whatever live or whatever, and I'll have them like sitting all around. The big thing here, it wasn't working.
No, I know, I feel you.
Now, I'm not opposed to maybe putting that thing on it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That'd be.
Does that have a mic output?
Yeah, it does have a mic output, but I'll be honest with you, its mic ain't that great. Sure. Hey, Kareem, how you doing?
What's up, guys?
This is my brother in all but blood, Mr. Brian No.2 Ortega.
That's me. What's up? And I'm looking absolutely insane because I was wearing a motherfucking hat before, so excuse the hair, my fucking lion mane, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my god! Look at the back of my head, and then
back of my head's fine.
I'm saying, look at the camera. Look at that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Good to hear you're doing good, bro. That's what's up.
Yeah, but the Decentraland stuff looks interesting to me.
All right, have you talked about the BlackRock shit?
Yeah, I did. So, me and friend of the show, Sean Bracey, PT Sean, me and him do a bi-weekly video series called A Quick Question, where we ask each other we answer each other's questions from the week before, and then we ask a question in turn, talking a little bit about the question itself. It's very Vlogger Brothers-esque.
Got you. Okay.
You know, kind of like a cross-pollination of channels. I was talking about that exact thing.
Where?
Yeah, how Wall Street is sort of buying up all like single-family properties and as much property as they can, and sort of turning America into a nation of renters, and how people who are truly middle class, who have like the capacity to have a 5 or even a 10% down payment, aren't getting it.
Well, yeah, because you got my friend is working for one of the corporations.
We will not name names.
Information because he enjoys the job. It's a really good job for him.
Very lucrative.
I'm happy for him, but he is working for one of those corporations. And see, my problem stems from, and kind of what Ben Shapiro said, but not really not really in the context that he said it in. It is the Fed who's fucking us over. Because they are don't get me wrong, BlackRock and all, and fucking Ellipson, is that?
Where?
But all of the asset fucking management companies and all of them, they got funds. Billions of dollars in profit and shit, and they're trying to fucking just spend the money. But then on top of that, the fucking Fed is giving them like $10 billion on top of what they already made in the pandemic from just profit alone, and is saying, yeah, go buy all those houses. It's insane, man.
See, the problem with like...
And we're not, and I'm sorry, just real quick, we're not under a Trump presidency anymore.
No.
There shouldn't be this economic revenge for the upper class against the middle and lower class. And that's exactly what's going on, and has been going on since before Trump, but Trump fucking expended it.
Hey, Kareem, I'm probably going to play Pokemon MMO later this weekend. My Twitch channel does a bunch of different types of games. I actually run a lot of different podcasts as well, and I also, like, whenever I have friends over at my place, I like to do like little live shows on them. So that's what this is. So if I would encourage you to sit down and chat with us while we're talking. But if you don't want to, I completely understand. I'll see you later this weekend when I'm playing Poke MMO later, probably around Saturday, Sunday. But continue, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just so surprised at the fact that Biden saw everything that was going on. And I mean, he's going after fucking gun violence now?
No. Here's the thing. Biden is is a poster child of the old way of doing things. And here's the fact of the matter. Here's the fact of it. If, like, the policies in the actions being taken now by corporate and financial interests will eventually lead to a revolution of some type in this country.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that to be hyperbolic. I'm not saying that because I even want it to happen. I don't. I'm a capitalist. I like stable systems. The fact of the matter is this: when people aren't able to have upward mobility, and when one of the best ways of any person in any capitalistic system having that ability of upward mobility is land ownership of any type, what ends up happening is people a generation or two removed from that have a level of resentment and anger that ends up bubbling over and either going towards a marginalized group, which, given the type of people that our generations are being, it's not going to be that, or it'll go towards the upper class. And if it goes towards the upper, if it goes into the upper class, they'll tear down power structures. Which, don't get me wrong, I think that's not a bad idea. It's just, do you want to have a social safety net through violent means, or do you want to have one through democratic means?
See, I saw something on TikTok, and I kind of like this idea of, like, a protest. And I hope one day I'm able to be some form of politician when all of us are starting to come of age to actually be in power. That we, as this generation and the next generation, should kind of not have kids, but say to the boomers and all the people running our country that are of the older generation who are saying, well, if I die and my grandchildren don't have kids or my children don't have kids because they want $15 minimum wage, free child health care, whatever the case, right? That's how we should really make our statement. And I mean, I know a lot of people will never go for it because some people are just narcissistic and want their own kids and this, that, and the other thing, and it's an ultimate goal of every human being, and for some people. But I think that is one of the greatest ways to really make a nation change now, as opposed to us finally being in power and then saying, whoa, all the older generation fucked this all up. We can't reverse it.
Here's the problem with that. Sex boycotts have been known to work. Like, if women coming together as a collective and doing a sex boycott has been known to work. It worked in Iceland. It worked when they did that, and before that they also, all the women walked out of their jobs for an hour and were able to get better pay. Something like a sex boycott could work. The problem is that the vast majority of people out there very rarely pick partners that aren't at least tangentially very close to them ideologically. There's like famous couples that are famous to have different political views, and like they're considered a novelty because they're so rare. Like, my girlfriend is a leftist. She's a self-proclaimed socialist. Now, I'm not a socialist, but I am an old lefty. And am a firm believer in, if you go far enough left, you get your guns back. But, we have a lot of similar beliefs. Like, she said outright she would not date a Republican.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because I've had the same conversation. But, like, it's so interesting to see how downhill it's all going. And this is the thing that bothers me so much. We're out of this pandemic, and we need a Teddy Roosevelt-esque figure, not creature. We need a FDR-esque figure.
Yep.
Because there's so many, and I know I've said this on the podcast prior, and Kareem, I hope you don't check it into every single podcast, but I mean, the things that are going on in India, the things that are going on in Africa, the things that are going on worldwide with this pandemic, it gives us such opportunity to re-strengthen all of our relationships worldwide. For us,
to be fair, Biden is his international policy. I don't really have too many complaints with it. I mean, I wish he handled some of the Israel-Palestine stuff a little bit better. But
it's not. What I'm saying is, it's not enough. I'm not saying
his domestic policy sucks.
I'm not saying it has to be radical international policy, foreign policy, but it should be radical in the sense of trying to help all of these people. And the fact that it's not a part of our goal, but then we're hearing on the news now on MSNBC and CNN and Fox and whoever.
I haven't watched them in years.
And not that I'm saying they're real news, they're not. But all they're saying now is that this Delta X or whatever variant of the COVID disease is probably going to mutate against the vaccine. So, I mean, why wouldn't we want to go over to fucking, what's it called? Go over to India and go over to Africa and say, hey, Doctors Without Borders, we need that shit. You remember when H1N1 happened? And we had hundreds of thousands of doctors and Ebola also going over to Africa and trying to make sure that it stays in Africa and also help the people who had Ebola and had H1
hey sweetheart
or N1, sorry. And it's like all of that completely is the gray zone. Like, it's crazy.
You want to know why they went all over there to keep it contained in Africa? Because they knew if it came into America, there'd be no way to stop it.
Yeah,
because this pandemic has shown not only like our infrastructure, our healthcare infrastructure aside, which is abysmal for a first world country.
Oh, by the way, hi Meta.
So not only is our healthcare abysmal, but like it just shows like the general temperament of the average American is selfish. Americans are selfish. Like, not to say that they're like all selfish all the time, but you know, they won't inconvenience themselves unless they can determine to help someone else, unless they can determine the level of inconvenience they have to feel
and the benefit they get from it.
Correct.
There are only a set amount of people who are selfless.
Let's take Lord of mercy.
Okay.
This fucking face mask, this cloth. Now, this isn't even a face mask that technically is supposed to like do all the job it's supposed to. But just having a face covering helps at the bare minimum. Here's the thing though. This doesn't protect me. Masks don't protect you. Unless it's a medical mask designated for medical use and applied properly, which most of them are, because I know even my ass takes the blue ones you get from the store and wears them multiple times. You're not supposed to wear them like once every
single use. I know.
Single use, small time frame. These don't protect. Like, the point of wearing these isn't to protect you, because most of them don't protect you. What they're supposed to do is to protect other people. If you are not wearing a mask and you are surrounded by a bunch of people who are wearing masks, they're protecting you,
not the other way around.
Correct. And that's the problem. It's like, and I think that was the thing. If like masks did work, like, oh, they protect you, Americans would have been A-okay with it. The problem is that the masks don't actually protect you. They protect everybody else around you. And so the goal is, if everybody's wearing a mask, everybody's protected. It's like a fucking vaccination herd immunity. The less people that are wearing masks, the less fucking effective they are.
Well, I mean, also to say, I think a big portion of not necessarily the distrust, but the hesitancy to really listen to everything that's going on health-wise in this country is because you literally go from being told it's going to be a 3-week stay-at-home quarantine period, and then it goes on for almost a year and a half. nobody is really fucking like addressing that. Nobody is saying, well, you know what, we kind of fucked up. We told you guys that it was going to be a set time. We should have really said, listen, we know everybody can't just randomly stay home, but we have to make sure that this thing does not continue to go. So it's an indefinite quarantine period for most people. Not that you have to stay in the house, but try to stay in as much as you can.
Right.
Wear a mask outside. It's not going to help you. It's going to help the people who either A, realistically can't wear a mask, or now B, can't realistically get the vaccine, or C, little children and very, very old people. And it's like, it's so surprising to me also that there are a lot of people in this country who didn't even know that the vaccine was free. And it still goes on today. Because they're like, healthcare, something to do with healthcare is free? No, you're lying to me. It's a scam. You're absolutely untrue. I don't know what to tell you.
Right,
But it's,
and you know what the funniest thing about, and you know what the funniest, the thing that just makes me tickled fucking pink about all this? It's the fact that when, like, people are going to look at all of this and realize, hold on, if this is free, why can't insulin be free?
why can't chemo?
Why can't? Why do my teeth hurt? Why do my teeth have to hurt? I think Meadow Favuzzi on YouTube says, I think the polarization of vaccination and medical things in the United States has hurt the ability to end COVID in the United States. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, but Meadow, I'm just going to pose a reply, but also play devil's advocate here. The reason...
Meaning he doesn't actually believe this shit.
No, I do agree. That definitely is the case why it's still kind of alive in America.
No, when I say don't believe this shit, I mean the stuff that's about to come out of your mouth.
I'm saying... No, this is something I do believe in. The polarization that the medical industry, especially Fauci and all of them, are now having to face is because they first lied to us multiple times, then they never fully came clean, even in congressional hearings, and then also you got to remember, minorities, especially in and throughout the country and throughout time, there have been many examples of the medical world performing experiments on people and telling them it was a vaccine.
I know black people who still won't go to the doctor because of Tuskegee.
Exactly. And I'm just, not that I'm defending them, not that I'm saying like they're right or anything, but you instill that paranoia and that fear in a set group of people and they will never trust the medical industry again. This is why so many black, brown, Asian, Hispanic people all the time die of really simple medical procedures because they either don't trust the medical industry or it's just plain too fucking expensive. And if you go up to them and say, hey, Jose Alejandro Ortega.
On a stick.
For whatever. But for argument's sake, right?
So the people who understand that that reference I just did, like, you're either an asshole or a reformed asshole like me.
But you go up to that person and you say, hey, we understand you have a broken foot. We understand you have diabetes and you need insulin. Why don't you take this free vaccine and all those other medical things you're going through, the medical emergencies that's probably going to cause you to be fucking bankrupt? You know what? COVID is more important. I don't buy it.
And here's the thing. It's like, I was talking about this the other day, too. Kareem said, I went to the hospital yesterday. Bro, I'd love to, like, unless you got Medicaid, like, how much was your bail, bro? I'd love to see.
I got Medicaid, so I'm good.
Fuck you. Lucky bastard. Meadow says, that's true, but I'm specifically talking about white Republicans who think vaccines have chips in them. Yo, okay, so I want to speak on this for a second. So, I saw a couple, like, videos on the internet. Like, they were hilarious. Actual combat veterans say, like, just pissing themselves at this notion because they're saying we were out in the deserts of Afghanistan and we could barely find each other. Like, they give us top of the line tracking satellite equipment and it barely fucking worked half the time.
Yeah, I mean, the notion that they're trying to control us through this virus, through this vaccine.
Oh yeah, that's true. So Kareem says, I don't have health care. So that's true. You can't, because of an Obamacare mandate, if you go to the emergency room and need help, like, they can't turn you away because you can't pay. They have to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, fucks up your credit score.
Oh yeah.
Like they're going to go after you for medical debt and stuff, but technically there is paid for healthcare. You just won't be able to like have any type of financial like security.
Mm-hmm. And it's just so insane because, and goes back to our first subject. In case you missed it, we were talking a little bit about the BlackRock and other asset management taking over.
Basically about how Wall Street and financial firms are slowly just buying up obscene amounts of like property in the United States, and with the whole goal of like making America a nation of renters. And the fucking mainstream media has been like putting out pieces like why America's becoming a nation of renters and why that's a good thing. But guess where that fucking came out of? Bloomberg.
Of course it did. But I'm saying this relates.
My credit scored like 9 something.
Damn. But
I thought the cap was 850.
Yeah, I thought it was too. You should probably check that again, Kareem. But
you can fight it if it shows up on your credit report because it breaks HIPAA.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that.
Ooh, interesting.
Thanks for letting us know that, Metal.
Yeah, the problem is that there's only 3 credit checking bureaus, and all
that's the fuck part.
Yeah, and it's like they're under, like, listen, you're the product. They're under no obligation to help you.
But I'm saying these two things relate though, because let's say you have horrible credit or you have no credit, and you have to go to the hospital because your tooth is so badly decayed. 735. Because your mouth is so decayed, or one of your teeth is so decayed, and you need an emergency root canal.
Boogie 2988 had that problem. He was having just sick, like, awful problems in his body for years and years and years. And then he went and got his teeth fixed. Apparently, there's a rotting piece of tooth just kept slowly, like, just poisoning him over time. That's why he was never able to get better.
Yeah, that's what happens. And then, but I'm saying these two things relate because then you file for bankruptcy because you can't pay for the medical emergency because they went after your credit and they threw it into collections without telling you owed anything. And then, how do you buy a house? Take BlackRock out of the equation. How do you get like, that shit?
Imagine if you could buy any piece of property.
It's like either way you're fucked. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it's insane. It is.
Because it's just like, what the hell do we do at this point? Oh God! And Sean's playing Wii Breath of the Wild. I play it too. What am I saying? Genshin Impact. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, aside from all that, kind of what is going on in
Crystal and Saga are really gonna make me pay $10 a fucking month.
You said this over the phone. I mean, hey, I'm kind of down.
Yeah, I am too a little bit like.
But aside from the whole entire show, there really is more than enough content if you are subscribed to other YouTubers to keep you pretty interested.
They can't, I don't know, that's just crazy. They can't prove that you went to a hospital without explaining what Meadow says. They can't prove that you went to a hospital without explaining what the itemized bill is, which would show private information that breaks HIPAA, so they usually just remove it.
Well, Meadow, a little anecdote for you. I went to a MedExpress on Kirkwood Highway. They asked for me for my insurance back when I had actual insurance. I was like 16 or 17, and they actually threw it into collections. And when I tried figuring out why, they wouldn't even provide me the amount that I owed because it was so much. So finally I had to call the MedExpress and say to them, wait, why do I have this in collections? Because I had insurance at the time of this procedure. And it was literally just for a checkup. And they were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And they immediately they took it off of my credit like a day after. So I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect, but I know for a fact that they won't even tell you the price.
Yeah, human errors can be a fucking problem.
And Meadow, probably what you're saying is what they're supposed to do, but 9 times out of 10 they don't.
Right, because remember, like, in this system, it has companies haven't had to really fear like financial and financial like from a financial perspective. like financial business dealings like the IRS is so under fucking like, dude, if I was president tomorrow, you know what I'd do? I'd triple the IRS budget.
Yeah, as if they don't have enough, buddy.
No. Their operating budget.
Well,
because here's the difference. Here's the thing.
If you're talking about increasing the salary of the workers and hiring more people to actually be on the workforce, yes.
Yeah, because you want to know why? Because places, you know, the fucking like hedge funds and shit that you know, just literally make money. Yep. Well, the thing is that people at the IRS would like to go after them. The problem is that the way that they structure their businesses is so it's long and tedious, you know. But if you have a lot of people like working for it, you can get through it, you know. The reason why the IRS audits people like in our income brackets is because it's all they fucking can. Because that's all, like, one person can do that and not, you know, be fucked.
Hey, I'm kind of enjoying this question and answer or like post comment and reaction type thing. Keep it coming, yo.
You have to be your own advocate, unfortunately, but I think if people knew how, it would make it more possible. Very true.
Yeah, it's just a matter of knowledge at this point. So many people are ignorant of so many facts. You really got to seek out the information if you are under, and it only happens when you're under these circumstances. These aren't normal things that the everyday American walks around thinking about.
No, and it's like you're never prepared to go deal with this. Like, you're like, how the hell do I deal with it? You know, it's like you had the luxury of like having a relatively close point of contact, but if somebody steals your identity, you have no recourse whatsoever. None. Any other topics that been kind of that you've heard about lately?
You watch Jimmy Dore?
I actually don't want. Actually, he's not in my media rotation.
You know what's going on with him and the Young Turks?
Did that? I saw a tweet. Did that just happen? That just happened today. I think.
It's kind of been going on for a while now.
Well, I know that him and the Young Turks aren't necessarily
friends anymore.
Fond of each other.
But what's it called? For those of you who don't know. Jimmy Dore is a YouTuber who pretty much just smokes weed every day and has a political podcast.
He's basically like if Joe Rogan like did all politics all day.
Yep, pretty much. And he's mad entertaining. He's really funny. He has sketches.
Can we talk about actually that for a second?
What's it?
What
Oh wait, real quick. Let me just tell you about this. Have you seen the new Kill Tony episode?
What's Kill Tony?
Tony Hedgecliffe and Brian Redband, and they have a podcast.
They have a podcast?
Hold on, wait. Where they literally get amateur comedians to come up on stage, and they call their names out of a hat, and they literally let them go for a minute, and then they critique them. And usually it's pretty funny. But this latest episode had Tony Hinchcliffe, Brian Redband, Joe Rogan, Duncan Trussell, and Alex Jones. Oh, it was great.
Oh, man.
Alex Jones is... Yo, let me just say this. I think Alex Jones should come out as a comedian and say that everything he has said, aside from the 9/11 and Bohemian Grove shit, has been a joke. Literally, he'll be fine. Because he's funny as fuck.
And he... I mean, I did see his podcast. It's like... Here's the thing. I did see why he was funny, and some of the things he said were kind of like just like how he structured what he said was funny. But it's just like some of the wild, weird. And here's the thing. Here's what I kind of appreciated. It's like he basically in this one episode got into it with what was the fucking jiu-jitsu guy, Eddie Bravo. That's who he's name is. And basically said like, I am so confident that the Earth is not flat that I will fund a fucking expedition and send your ass to the fucking ice wall.
No, other way around. I am so confident that the Earth is round. I will send you to space to show you it's round.
That's what
not
it was.
a flat disc.
Right. So it's like, you know. So it's just.
Yeah, but what were we? Hey guys, what were we talking about before I brought up Kill Tony? Anybody remember?
So.
Oh, you wanted to ask me something.
So I wanted to ask you about this. So. Yes. Sorry, I'm just like taking the video and I'm sharing it on Facebook and tagging your ass in it.
Gotcha.
Because, you know, there's people who like are just nosy and shit. But what I wanted to ask you, is just sort of pick your brain on this.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting concept to me. Joe Rogan has the largest podcast in the country, in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Joe Rogan, despite a handful of like beliefs, is economically lefty.
Yeah.
He
said as such, right?
Yep, he's so like he's like, with the exception of like maybe a handful of things, he's
taxes.
He's
Republican, definitely. I would be if I was a celebrity.
Or he's I think he's just more of just like, I think he's more like just like, hey, let me run my business. You can tax it, just don't let me run my fucking business.
And let me not go under from the amount of taxes
and regulations and pain in the ass, red tape and all that. I get that, and I agree with that personally. I'll pay more taxes if it means I can run my business more equitably.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna count.
You're good, but basically, it is so unbelievably baffling.
Well, he's a good. Let me say this about Joe Rogan.
Well, no, hear me out. It's baffling to me that a man who has so many of the people on the right hanging on and trusting his word, that even fucking Donald Trump's camp reached out to him asking to do an interview. That the lefties and stuff, like, now I'm not talking about the liberal media, media. I'm talking about like actual lefties. What I'm wondering is why lefties that aren't like Kyle Kulinski and Jimmy Dore and the folks at Breaking Points, like, not relishing in this. You have a man who literally wants everything that we want economically, and y'all are using him as like a scapegoat of the right. Well, and here's the thing, people like Breitbart and the Blaze and the Daily Call and all these fuckers, every time he says a right-leaning talking point, they share his shit. And then every time he talks about a lefty point, nobody does his shit.
Well, you gotta understand why. And I'm really surprised that you don't. You really don't get it?
Is it because he's not completely liberal in some areas? Is it because of liberal purity? Is it because he's a white dude? Like, what?
Nope. Well, a little bit of the first point, but they also know. I mean, you have so many.
He's speaking to millions of Republicans.
I know. Hold on. Wait. It's because, number one, he has opinions that don't correctly coincide with everything that the liberal and extreme liberal side of the media
and let's also make a signification. There's a difference between a liberal and a lefty. A liberal will fight for conservative economic policies with a veneer of social equity without actually doing anything that does that. They'll fucking kneel with some fucking African cloths around their necks and just not do anything. A lefty is someone who wants to, radical economic policies that will change the income disparity in our country. And plus the social shit.
And the other part of it is the fact that they see Joe Rogan as somebody who is reasonably moderate in most of his views. He might align himself with the political left, but he is a perfect example of a moderate person. Not even a political person.
He's a moderate person because if you take the sum of who he is as a person, he is a moderate.
And he also directly goes against... he is in competition now with things like the Washington Post, who has their own podcast.
Yeah, I was not talking about them. Mainstream media. I was talking about tradition. I was talking about like lefty, like Young Turks, secular talk, stuff like that.
I'm saying the reason that he doesn't get the love and the appreciation from the left that he does from the right is because the right is so. The right is constantly under scrutiny because of the things that they believe socially. Okay?
Yeah.
I think we could agree with some of the things that they say socially is kind of fucked up.
Some of them? There's a lot of them, bro.
Well, if we're talking about Breitbart type conservatism, yes.
Yeah.
So, But the reason that all these places are constantly posting about, oh, Rogan's on our side, he said our point, is because they know their audience. And they also know the majority of their audience come from people like, not come from, but they know the majority of their audience, enjoys Joe Rogan's show also.
Right. So they have to make it seem like Joe Rogan is one of them.
Because if they go against him, then they polarize half of their audience.
Right, and people view Joe Rogan as like a reasonable individual. I would also wager that Joe Rogan is a contributing factor to why there's a lot of conservatives now that are behind the idea of something like universal health care.
I mean, you have that...
UBI.
You have that fucking crook, Fauci, fucking going after Rogan after he said, if you're a young person and you're healthy, you really don't... I don't think you should get the vaccine.
Right.
But that's my opinion.
And to be fair...
Why the fuck...
To be fair, Rogan was wrong there, I think.
Based on his opinion alone of if you work out every day, if you eat healthy and you exercise and you're not just a couch
But we know
potato.
how people lie to themselves.
No, I know. But he's saying if you're actually healthy, actually active, you really don't need the vaccine. Not because he doesn't believe in the virus, but because he doesn't think that it would really benefit a young person. I don't personally agree with him, but that's his point of view. If he is expressing an opinion, it is not the responsibility of a fucking healthcare official in government to go after a private person on a private podcast. That is not the responsibility of any person in politics. It isn't.
Yeah.
And this is exactly the problem with the left. This is the problem with the left as a whole. If you are not liberal enough, if you're not progressive in your views, but then conservative in the way you go after money, then you are not a true lefty. But that part is not the case for the people who believe in the liberal movement. The, let's stop all the Asian hate, let's stop all the corporations that have fucking gay pride things. They don't care about the issues.
Could I share with you a video I created for Pride this month? I think you'll appreciate it. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll share it with you right now. I made this video not too long, about a few weeks ago in June. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, you will see it on the screen momentarily. I just need to find it.
Will the audio also be playing?
Yes, it will.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah, and I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be... We live in a Pink Floyd fucking song. And it's insane. It's insanity. And, I mean, when you have government officials that are trying to convince the public, where like 50% in the beginning when the vaccine was first announced, and now like 25% of the country, after the vaccine has really gone into a lot of Americans' arms, are still under the impression that it's either going to be poison, bad, chip-filled, or they're going to use it to track me. Your fucking responsibility shouldn't be, oh, let me go after some famous guy's podcast for expressing his opinion because he's a health nut. I'm sorry. What?
I mean, I generally think like that some parts of the health nut movement are not great.
I agree.
Here's the thing. It's like Joe Rogan lives a lifestyle where it's like he kind of backs his shit up. It's like he doesn't support factory farming. He literally all the meat he feeds his family.
He hunts
he
or...
He literally supplies himself.
Yep.
He's an ethical hunter. He fucking is... Night, sweetheart.
Good night.
But yeah, it's just... so it's like... It just... The reason I brought it up is sort of just like... Kind of like... It's frustrating because it's like...
He would be a great asset to the liberal media.
He would.
He would be a great asset to the liberal movements, and especially certain progressive movements.
Like, here's my thing. It's like, I hate to say it, but I know that the best the best way to close racial divides and cease certain levels of discrimination in this country is if you make the economic changes promoted by the progressive movement. You know, the fact of the matter is that you close racial divides, you close all these issues if people are getting paid, if people have health care, people aren't struggling. Like, you remember when you were fucking homeless and shit, it's like you weren't able to do anything other than find, where the hell am I going to lay my head? Where am I going to get my next meal? That's fucking it.
And if you don't have the money to support yourself in any sense, let's say you get paid enough to cover rent and utilities, but you still need grocery. You still need to be able to, for childcare if you have a child. To make sure...
God forbid you need medication.
Yeah, God forbid you have an actual problem where you need consistent medication. It will destroy your life. And they don't give a...
And getting help is so fucking convoluted.
Oh, and let me also say this. Getting help is so complicated now. You would think that because COVID is over, all of these places would want to accept as many patients as possible. Therapists, counselors, not face-to-face, over the Zoom.
Therapists have been inundated since a month into the pandemic.
And it's like, every place you go to now, they aren't accepting new people. They don't accept your insurance. They don't...
To be fair, the place I go down the street does, like, they're fine. They don't take adults often, but they will, especially since they get the opportunity to actually charge our insurance in its entirety. I would really check them out because the people that they have working there are fucking really, really good.
Thankfully, I don't need the recommendation anymore. I found a very good therapist.
Nice.
But what's it called? It's just the constant struggle. I'll give you an example. My girlfriend is going through some problems, and I'm not going to get into detail because I don't want to talk about it. It's private.
I respect that.
But it's something to do with the OBGYN, and she doesn't know what's going on, and she's not worried, but, like, it is something to kind of give a little care about.
The fact that women need multiple of their own doctors for different parts of their bodies, and those things are, like, not readily available and accessible, kind of, like, is another testament to our failure as a country here.
Now, let me say this. She made an appointment for June, right? Mm-hmm. I think, like, June 25th to June 26th, whatever. Sometime next week.
Sums up, yeah.
She made that appointment in March.
Okay.
She forgot to let her job know. And she's, like, in a managerial position now, and she can't just say, oh, I don't feel good today, Yeah. She can't take off work for the day. She calls the OBGYN receptionist, and she receives attitude for telling her that she needs to reschedule. And the receptionist will not schedule anything earlier than September 21st. This is a girl who's not going through a medical emergency, but has something going on, and she needs to correct it with the doctor. You're going to say, as the front receptionist, you got to wait another 3 months. Sorry to tell you. And when asked why, she gave no answer. So then her mom who works for health insurance agency, has to call from Atlanta, Georgia, all the way to Los Angeles for X amount of OBGYNs because maybe she can get an appointment as opposed to my girlfriend. That is fucking despicable. If we give a fuck about our people, if we gave a fuck about healthcare in general, we would make that our first priority. We literally shut down for a year and a half over a virus that had a 10% fatality rate. No, I'm sorry, less than a 1% fatality rate. And you are dealing with women's reproductive organs, and 9 times out of 10 they die more per year. Women die more per year for an OBGYN related issue compared to all of the people worldwide that died in fucking COVID. And it's insane. And that's America. We're the richest country in the fucking world. We have all the billionaires.
We're the richest country, maybe, but we're also one of the poorest in the first world.
Let me say this. We not produce actual products, but we produce the most money in the world. We have the most.
You want to know that one of the most terrifying things? Manufacturing jobs have gone down steadily in the last 40 years. You know what's continued going steadily up and even rocketing up? Manufacturing.
But
Andrew Yang may not have the most wise views on certain social policies.
He's not going to win.
But the fact that he got the UBI thing ball rolling.
He didn't though, because
not really, but at least it's like something in the vernacular.
He's gonna lose the New York mayor election.
Didn't he?
I think he did, but if he hasn't already,
he was fourth in the primary.
If he hasn't already, he's going to lose. He's gonna have to drop out, and he is an example of a good politician with good fiscal policy, who is also liberal in nature. You don't see that many times. But because it's New York, he's not really... Is he from there? I don't think so. Yeah.
Not really.
He's not from there. He's seen as an outsider. And then on top of that, he wants to impose one of the weirdest concepts to a New Yorker. It's not going to happen. Especially since New York, the median age of New York continues to go up and up and up.
Because young people can't afford to live there.
It's like... You, Andrew.
A couple of them might be lucky to get a rent-controlled apartment.
Okay.
That they inherited. But
exactly. But it's like you, Andrew Yang.
From the 30s.
You, Andrew Yang, you could have been a great president one day, but because you chose the wrong place to run, your political career, in some respect, is never going to get to the form of presidency. And that's a bitter pill for somebody like Yang to swallow, but it is definitely the truth.
But at the end of the day, very true. Very true. I'm hoping, because, can I tell you what my ideal social safety net for America is? You get the bare minimum of housing, the bare minimum of food, but all the vitamins and nutrients you need, and you get health care. Maybe a UBI check.
Maybe. But
here's the thing. But at the end of the day, all your needs, if you need it, your needs can be met. If you don't have a house, you got a house. If you don't got a roof over your head, you got a roof over your head. If you don't got food in your belly, you get food in your belly. If you don't got health, if you're sick, you can get cured. And here's the thing. There are going to be people, yes, that are just going to vibe on that system. Maybe get a little bit of money here and there and just chill. Course, 20. I think it's 15-20% of the welfare system is on the highest end is recorded to be that.
Yeah.
And that's by scientific studies. That's not by a conservative person's opinion. When I say what percentage of people do you think abuse the welfare system? It's 80%. Suck my dick.
You can't, because you don't get it. 9 times out of 10, you don't get enough money through welfare. That's the first thing.
Right. You have to be living a type of life living a type of life that kind of sucks.
Not kind of sucks. Does suck.
Right. And so I think a good amount of people don't enjoy living like that. Now that being said, there is, the fact of the matter is that this country, if you fall, you fall. It is thank God we live in a liberal state. And hope, it's like people say, leave your, don't move to my red state and vote liberal. No, fuck that. Get rid of the Republican power structure. Fuck them.
Because they still believe in trickle-down economics, bro.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's here's the fact of the matter is this. Do I think the government should supply a social safety net? Ideally, I'd rather businesses and
how they used to fucking provide
unions. No. Here's the thing. I think that there should be national unions and shit that if you join an industry, you automatically get put into the fucking union.
Well, let me throw this out to you. Walmart is the first biggest employer in the country.
They've tried so hard to kill. They've been effective at killing almost every union.
Wait. But what's the second biggest employer in the U.S.? I'm talking strictly U.S. Do you know?
I actually don't know off the top of my head.
The second one is Amazon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I would have thought it would have been something more like, like everything, like the corporation that owns Walgreens and Rite Aid and all those other pharmacies too.
Like singular business structure itself.
Amazon.
Regarding employers, Walmart first, Amazon.
Hmm.
This is the main difference between Walmart and Amazon. 3 years working at Walmart, you automatically get a promotion. If you stay for 3 years, you get some form of promotion. You're still getting paid shitty wages, but it's a promotion. And alternatively, 3 years staying at, at Amazon in either the factory warehouse job and or the delivery job, after 3 years, they say you begin to become lazy and we have to fire you.
Yeah, because
because
this report came out recently. Amazon that's part of their intent of their hiring is high turnover, because they basically if month by month it's different people in the facility, nobody can start a union, no matter how bad the environments are.
And this is why even people who are Republican, who are old, who are white, who believe in Trump, all that, they have always stood by unions, which is a liberal idea. Isn't that an insane prospect?
Because they remember that their dad was part of a union.
They were part of a union.
Unions, literally, the only time, literally, the people that support right to work are people who benefit from exploiting workers.
And this is the thing that I don't understand. You had a movement inside of Amazon to try and become unionized. Even if it was one state or multiple states where specific unions were set up.
Killed it.
And they killed it. They killed it outright because we have no power. We are the ones who break our backs for the products and make Amazon consumers happy.
They're never able to do a Prime Day strike. They keep every year during Prime Day they try to do the strike, and they're never able to fucking do it
because there's too much traffic. But exactly like Crystal said on Breaking Point, or I don't know if she said it at Rising while she was still there.
Bro, did you hear about the fuck shit that the Hill was pulling?
Yeah, with Kyle and
he aired them the fuck. Continue. We'll get there.
But yeah, it's insane, and it's like Crystal was absolutely right. If there was an added $10 charge, $15 charge, where it's like, as long as nobody has to piss in a bag or shit in a bag while they're making my delivery, I'll pay the extra money. Like, that's how it should be. That's why you have a union. You increase the price a little bit, but you make sure that people aren't shitting and pissing on the way to fucking deliver your shit, and then you don't have to wash the box, you don't have to wash your hands, you don't have to be like, well, this dirty motherfucker just walked into my house with shit and piss all over their hands, and now they want to assemble my TV. Get the fuck out.
Or Amazon Flex, you've got somebody who's walking with shit on the bottom of their shoe on your hardwood floors and shit as they're dropping your thing in. So my ex-girlfriend's father, Ron, was part of a union. He was a mail courier. He's a mailman for USPS.
Mm-hmm.
And he's part of a union, and he fucking goes out and campaigns, and he'll take a break. He'll take a couple.
Is he a union rep?
He's not. I don't believe he was a union rep, but he is a union.
Okay.
He would take 3 months off and campaign for Biden.
Oh,
he's an old school Democrat. He not old school in the sense of he's an old lefty, but old school is just it's like.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. It's like Democrats have been good for me. Their policies have been good for my family. I gotta support them. So I'm like, you know what? I respect that. Now, granted, at the time I was nowhere near as radicalized as I am now. I will say this year kind of like put the nail in the coffin for me for being like a fucking leftist. I used to think it was like an insult. People called me a leftist. And I'm like, yeah, you're alt-right. They're like, no, alt-right has all these, same thing with lefty, fuck you. Like, bro, there's this guy that used to run, that guy who used to run the vape shop before it shut down.
Yeah.
God, I want to air his shit out. It's so bad. Like, it's just like, he treated my other buddy that worked there so damn bad. And they were friends for years. It pisses me off.
One day we'll have a shitless fucking podcast where we just air motherfuckers out.
Yo, bro, like let me get a stable job before I do this.
Oh,
shit,
bro, you and me both.
Yo, for real, because like I'm sure you even have people like back at the choir you want to air their shit out.
No, I have too many enemies now for that shit. But to get off of the political subject for a sec, what's your opinion on McAfee being found dead?
Not sure.
First, were you a big fan of McAfee virus protection, the software?
Fuck no.
No?
Nobody is. That's just like AIDS on your computer. The only thing that's worse, that's harder to get off is the fucking viruses from downloading shit off of LimeWire.
Or Clippy.
Bro, like, McAfee is like, listen, I hate McAfee software, like the software. The man himself is like, he was a problematic individual for a variety of reasons, but he's also like was very like one of the first people to like support like internet privacy and all this stuff, and kind of just like, so I appreciate him for that. I wish he didn't pull the fucking Wesley Snipes bullshit and paid his fucking taxes, because here's the thing, it's not like he had a fucking cabal ring going after him either. It's like he said here's the thing, he said that he had like a dead man switch or whatever with all these documents going out. I'll give it a month. If I don't see the damn documents, I think he's going to be full. He was full of shit. Because I think if I see the documents, I'm like, oh, maybe you had some. There's like, oh, let's dig into it and see. But like,
Do you think they're gonna release that?
Him? Well, no. He said that he released it. He released it on the internet. He has a dead man switch. He said that in a tweet. Like he said, listen, like if I have all this stuff on a bunch of powerful people, I'm gonna let it. If I die, I'll let it go. We'll see, but he said he had 31 terabytes of data.
Stranger things.
To give you a kind of sense.
I don't really know much about the man himself.
This is a terabyte. This holds 3 terabytes.
No. I am well aware of what 31 terabytes.
But it's like, as far as like what I know about John McAfee, he wasn't. I don't. From what I know, it might be like chat can tell me something different, but as far as I know, he wasn't the type. He wasn't like an Epstein figure where he was rubbing elbows and shit with like very wealthy and powerful and influential people. He's just a guy who was basically coasting on his success from the 90s,
and he didn't want to pay taxes. That's kind of what it seems like. And he kind of killed himself because he was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather kill myself.
Well, part of it is that like he was in a European prison.
Yeah, but he was being extradited to America.
And he was going to be in American prison, which suck.
But he's a person that would not be released in Gen Pop. You know what that means?
What?
General population.
No.
He wouldn't have been in the fucking yard with killers and rapists. Are you out of your mind?
No. They'd probably kick his ass for like, you put that bullshit on my computer when I was 13.
Exactly. I mean, you have Chauvin who fucking killed George Floyd in, solitary because he can't be released in Gen Pop.
They'd fucking kill him. Bro, they would. No, here's the thing. I think John McAfee would have been fine in General Pop. Probably have to be among older people, like in an older population, like block.
But I think even then, nobody would have really came up to him and been like, bro, your shit sucked. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't have happened. I think he would have been able to go into General Pop. I think he would have been fine. Like, it wouldn't have been an issue.
But I'm just saying, like, it's not like he would have gone.
And he's going for tax evasion.
And they always treat tax evasion niggas nice. Let's be
because they're not, because it's not a violent crime. It's certainly the one thing that the government hates more than murderers, drug dealers, and rapists. A tax cheat.
That's for sure.
But yeah, they're not. You know, he's not a violent criminal. But the thing though is that like, yo, I know. Everybody at that when they found out that Derek Chauvin was coming to their prison, they were trying to do everything they could to bribe the guards.
They were like, bro, just 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes. It's all I need. That's all I need. Even the Aryan guys were just like, yo, he's an athlete. Like, I saw what he did. That shit, like, just that could have been us. Like 5 minutes.
It'd be like, I don't necessarily like black people either, but
you
don't kill a nigga like that.
Yo, for real though.
And that's the fucking Aryan brothers saying that.
I can just imagine them. I don't know if they did that or not, but I thought I would figure that an Aryan would hate a cop more than a black person.
They're gangsters themselves. Of course they hate cops. But, what's it called? Speaking of kind of things like that, let's stay on this topic of crime, information, and shit. And I don't know how long you want to run it, but we just passed an hour.
Yeah, let's wrap up this topic and say do some plugs and say our goodbyes.
All right, for sure.
Just so we can like talk about some shit that's not live.
Before we do all that, I just want to know, what do you think is going to happen with this Ghislaine Maxwell case?
Well,
do you think she's going to mysteriously die also?
Well, I mean, Epstein's still a meme. I mean, like, when we said did McAfee get Epsteined? Like, so it's like, if they do, they would have to have not have been paying attention at all with what the general population of people in America have been thinking, because it's like, it was like when he died, like the entire world was invested in what the fuck happened, and they never figured it out.
And even known skeptics were like, "No, this seems weird."
Right? It's like, here's the thing: I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Like, I'm not a skeptic. I'm a giant skeptic in that regard. You know, it's like people who are just like lockstep. You know, they believe what the news says. They're just like, you sure? Because that sounds like some bullshit to me.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's, But, so, haven't seen any of your TikToks whatsoever.
Yeah, because there haven't been any.
Yeah, no, you've been dying. But, goes the, producing stuff?
Once again, audio production is going very well. For those of you who don't know, I am trying to make my own beats.
Remember, you gotta look there, not there.
No, I know. I'm not really worried about the camera right now. When I go plug everything, I will. But, what's it called? I'm trying to make my own beats. It's something that I never really had the experience in. I mean, I've fooled around a few times back when I was...
And especially after that last experience, I think you'd rather would, like, not have to work with an audio engineer if you can avoid it.
Yeah, that's...
Especially not one that you... Like, it just baffles me, like, you don't know any... You're not super tight with anybody that's an audio engineer.
And I actually found out that I'm closer to a record label of people than I thought. When I went down to the beach, I met like 3 or 4 people that had their own record label type of thing, and they seemed like really cool guys. And I told them that I would be interested in working with them. So hopefully new music soon. But
fingers crossed.
But yeah,
I want to have you on a video one of these days. We can do a collab or something, or just have you as a guest, like maybe do the cooking show or something. I'd love it if you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because dude, I would love it if I could do the fucking cooking by approximation, not in that tiny ass kitchen.
Well, come over and let's film it in my place.
Bet.
Yeah.
I'll bring the cookbook or something. We can do something cool.
Bet. And my grandparents would love the food. Yeah. And they'll stay quiet.
Yeah.
So.
Right, because I'll talk to them like they're children if they don't.
So. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Check me out on Instagram at No.2_Brian. Check me out on TikTok at No.2Brian.
Yep. As for me, we got a brand new episode of the Uncensored Library. 4 new episodes of the Uncensored Library coming out tomorrow at 7, 12, 6, and just before midnight, respectively. I'm going to be talking about censorship in Palestine, Azerbaijan, Finland, and Denmark. Sort of like 2 authoritarian-esque type of places versus basically spots 2 and 3 of the most free press environments in the world. Also, keep an eye out next week. I'm going to be putting out another article on Patreon. This past week, the article I kind of went over why E3 is becoming irrelevant and what they can do to stop to at least become culturally relevant again. It's been a minute since I did a video game centric episode. It's been a lot of like economics and politics stuff lately. What else? Follow me on TikTok as well, at HIMediaYT, I believe. I think it's HIMedia. No, it's Haggard Innovations. It's at Haggard Innovations. My apologies. I'm stupid.
You've only been doing it for how long?
Six-ish months. I started doing it like 3 months into my relationship with Meadow. But me and him keep an eye out for another cooking by approximation video. I destroyed my kitchen learning how to make horchata.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I'll show you how bad it is in a moment. It's a fucking nightmare.
Bet.
But yeah, I figured out how to make it properly, and I have another cooking by approximation video. Thankfully, no hot shit needed this time, just a lot of soaking and waiting.
All right, well,
ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching.
Yes, I appreciate you guys. Come show me love, and I think that's all.
Yeah.
See ya.
We'll get your podcast going a little bit sooner. We just gotta get you in a better stable place.
Yeah. Also, if you guys haven't checked it out, please check out the Misguided Kids podcast. We did one where me and Evan were walking in the park.
We'll do another one of those soon.
Mm-hmm. And you guys could check that out on. Where can they check it out?
You can check it out in our podcast network at bit.ly/HIM podcast, or you can go to our main page at bit.ly/HIMIT, and you can see all of our podcast merchandising, social media accounts, Twitch streams, and the like all there. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.